Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you how to back up the Cisco IS or the running config or startup config onto the TFTP server. The thing is that I've already done a lab in a Cisco packet tracer, so this lab is not going to be, so I'm not going to configure into the packet tracer. I'm going to use an actual equipment. So today I'm using a 2600 Cisco router. So I've created three diagrams over here where you will be basically using this kind of roughly this kind of topologies where you can back up your iOS like that. So in my home lab I'm using a laptop and a router like this directly connected to a crossover cable and a console cable, or you can use a switch in between to the that doesn't matter, one and the same. Or in a production environment you'll have a topology like this similar to that roughly. uh, all you need to do is you can download the TFTP server software. Either it can be SolarWinds or a TFTP server. In my case I'm using a TFTP server. Download TFTP server, you need to type in and click on open. This will open this page, and whichever edition you have, 32-bit or 64-bit, you can download and install that. I've already downloaded, so I won't be downloading it again. So but I will be showing you how to configure it. So here is the TFTP server software. uh, all you need to click on elevate, click on S. Basically you have to make sure you have to configure that thing. Okay, click on add. uh, I've configured that before, so I deleted it, and I'm going to show you how to configure it. Type in whichever address you want to add. In my case I'm using 0./32 prefix, which is 252 mask. So two usable host. .1 will be my router and .2 will be my TFTP server. Port 69, and you have to specify a path. Before specify a path you have to create a folder. I've created a folder called a TFTP onto my desktop. There's nothing over here, so you have to do a con browse desktop and go and search your TFTP. Here it is. Click OK. Okay, and click OK. Make sure you start your service, otherwise it can give you an error if the service is stopped. Here in this case it is in stopped. Make sure you start that service, otherwise you can't back up or restore your iOS. Another thing you have to do is go over here, open your network and sharing properties, change network sharing. Sorry about the noise, it's giving me a noise, background noise, because whenever I double click it gives me a annoying noise. So basically I've already typed in the IP address. Here it is, /32-bit prefix with a 252 mask, and default gateway, which is my router's IP address. Hit OK and close. So now I'm using a HyperTerminal. Okay, let me show you. No. Okay, close. Yes. Double click. No. I'm using a trial version, so I've already created this thing. Open. Here's my router. Show running config. This is my running config. Already I guess configured. I've connected my crossover cable to fastnet 0/0, and it is having an IP error of 0.1, which is /32 prefix of 252 mask. So that's about it. There's nothing special. I should show IP interface brief. Will only show you this interface being configured, nothing else. So right now what you need to do is one more thing. Before trying to back up or restore your iOS or running config, make sure you can ping your TFTP server, which is 0.2, and try to ping from your system as well. 168.0.1, which is my router. Okay, I'm able to ping both of the systems. And another thing which is an important part, which I told you previously, you have to make sure your service is being started, otherwise it will give an error. It won't allow you to copy your iOS or running config. And and one more thing I need to stress more on this is the firewalls creates a huge problem when trying to backup or restore iOS, because it doesn't allow you to backup or restore the iOS. Here I'm going to show you my, if you're not using your antivirus software, then you have to stop your turn off your iOS in your Windows environment. Go to the system and securities. Make sure it is turned off. Here it is turned off because I'm using my antivirus software and I'm using that firewall from the antivirus smart security software, so this will be disabled. So got nothing to do over there. So make sure you disable this by clicking temporary disable your firewall. I'll show you without that why it's going to give me an error. Type in copy, before that show flash, because you need to know your iOS file name. Copy flash TFTP. Source file name is, you want to copy the exact file name. Copy and paste it over here. Hit enter. Type in your remote host IP address, which is your TFTP server IP address, and it asks you, do you want to keep this as a file name? Hit enter if you want to, or you can change it, but I'll hit enter. Here it's going to give me an error because I've told you previously I've not turned off the firewall, and it's giving me a problem. It's not allowing me to backup the iOS. So this is error I'm getting. If I go back over here and click on right click and temporarily disable my firewall and click yes, okay, and if I do that again, try to back up my iOS again, it will allow me to back up the iOS. Here it is. So it's trying to back up my iOS, and if I go over here in my, this is my iOS from the Cisco router, and if I want to back up sorry, if I want to, it's still backing up my iOS, so it's backed up my iOS. Now if I want to back up my running config to TFTP server, it will ask the host IP address, which is this one, and if you want to change the host file name from r1 config, let's say it says running config. Okay, it has copied, and I can show you over here. This is the running config file, and if you want to copy startup into the TFTP server, all you need to do is this, give it a name or keep whatever it is, start. Okay, it has copied that as well, is that. And if you want to restore it back onto your router, I'll change the host name so that you all can see if it's working or not. Host name is router. So what will happen is this, the prompt from this router will change to r1. So all you need to type in copy copy TFTP Okay, I have to go back into this mode here, privilege mode, copy TFTP and running config, hit enter, type in the host name, which is the TFTP server IP address, and the so make sure you type in the exact source file name, because this creates a lot of problem if you don't put the exact file name over here. Paste it over here, hit enter. You want to keep that as a file name? Okay, that's good to me. So now that you can see that it has copied the running config onto my router, and the prompt has changed from router to R1, and in the same manner you can do that to your startup config. Basically you need to type in the same thing and hit enter and enter. That's about it. I'm not going to do that, because if you want to back up your iOS, uh, copy TFTP and sorry okay, copy TFTP flash and hit enter. Is this the IP address of your TFTP server? Okay. Source file name would be this. This is not the source file name. As I mentioned before, type in the exact source file name. In this case it is this thing, and right click and paste. Okay, destination. Okay. Why it's giving me an error? To make sure this thing is turned off. Okay. Copy. So I'm getting an error. Why? Because I didn't type .bin as an extension. So let's try it again. Copy TFTP flash. IP address of the TFTP server is the 0.2. Source file name is the same, and the destination file name is, type the exact name and add .bin as an extension, because the iOS file is .bin. So hit enter. It asks you, do you want to override this? Click. Son of a. So I did just get an error. So let's try this again. Copy TFTP flash. Okay, show flash. Okay. Copy TFTP flash TFTP. No, not flash TFTP. Copy TFTP flash. Okay. IP address is the same. Uh, Make sure you put the .bin at the front back as well, because last time I did it without the .bin, it gave me an error. So okay, so this is the thing you want to type in in the desktop. This file name, this will only give you the file name, will not give you a .bin as an extension. So copy that thing and type in .bin as an extension. That's why it's not giving me an error. So copy that thing and type .bin as an extension, hit enter. Destination also you wanna type the same thing plus the .bin as an extension, hit enter. It asks you, do you want to override this? Hit enter. Yes. It accessing the, it is the flash before copying the iOS from the, it will erase whatever iOS which is there on your router and restore the new iOS onto the this router. Hit enter and confirm. Hit enter. It's erasing the device and then it will start copying the iOS. So now it's starting to copy the file from the TFTP server onto the router. So this is, if you see this thing, then there's no problem with that. basically I was getting the error because I was not giving .bin as an extension over there. So make sure you put .bin as an extension file. So now that it's copied, okay, it's done. So I guess you got how to back up and restore the iOS onto the router and onto the TFTP server. Thanks for watching. If you have some problem, please let me know. Thanks a lot.